It's day 4 since the attack by Hamas. And the situation on the ground, as you can see from Gaurav's report and the pictures that are streaming in, has only been escalating. Israel has continued to bomb the neighborhoods in Gaza, and the Hamas continues to fire rockets, at least from some positions. India Today's crew at the epicenter, and you've heard from both of them, Ashutosh and Gaurav, are reporting from an area nobody else has reached so far. A devastating assault that has left open a new deadly chapter in West Asia. Just take a look at these pictures and watch this report.
Israel's intense retaliation on the one hand. The Israeli counting their dead on the other.
Israel didn't start this war. Israel will finish it. Hamas will understand that by attacking us, they've made a mistake of historic proportions. We will exact a price that will be remembered by them and Israel's other enemies.
On day 4 of the war against Hamas, Israel increased airstrikes on the Gaza Strip. It sealed it off from food, fuel, and other supplies. The resounding echoes of detonations rolled across the Gaza region. The Israeli strikes persisted throughout the night and into Tuesday morning, accompanied by the unmistakable presence of the multiple fighter jets soaring above the vicinity.
Reach at multiple locations in the Gaza Strip. You already have Israeli tanks that have been deployed there to ensure that Hamas fighters and terrorists cannot come in there from there once again. While there are some troops deployed there, other troops are clearing whatever pockets of resistance of those terrorists remain inside Israel. And then these forces, they are here now in big numbers.
At least 900 people have died in Israel. More than 680 Palestinians have been killed since Hamas launched an unprecedented surprise assault on Saturday.
Right behind me you see the historic and iconic Al-Aqsa Mosque. And even the Jerusalem is not spared by Hamas group terror organization. Even Jerusalem on Monday, several rockets were fired. And there you see, the footfall at the mosque in these areas has drastically reduced.
Israeli military has brought additional forces near the border. A major question was whether it will launch a ground assault into the tiny Mediterranean coastal territory. Israel's last ground attack happened in 2014.
Our Air Force is attacking hundreds of Hamas Islamic Jihad targets in Gaza. We follow international law while exercising our right and responsibility to protect our civilians.
Israeli authorities believe Hamas has taken up to 150 hostages in Gaza. Hamas has claimed it is holding more than 100 captives, including Israeli army officers. A devastating assault that has left open a new deadly chapter in the Middle East. With Ashutosh Mishra in Jerusalem and Gaurav Sawant in Sderot, Israel, Bureau Report, India Today.
And while Israel continues to fight with Hamas in Gaza, which is the southern part of the country, on the northern front, in the border with Lebanon, the Hezbollah terrorist group has opened attacks against Israel. And India Today has now touched down in Lebanon as well. We're reporting from Israel, and now my colleague Ashraf Wani is live with us from Lebanon. The Hezbollah, which is a terrorist group that is supported by Iran, has joined the fight, and it has opened attacks on Israeli positions in northern Israel. The question now is, will this war expand into Lebanon? Israel has invaded Lebanon on 2 occasions before. In the 70s and 80s, Israel is moving tanks to the Lebanon border once again. India Today's Ashraf Wani gets us this report from the Lebanon-Israel border, where Deputy Chief of the Israel Army was killed in an encounter with Hamas terrorists.
Today is the 5th day of war between Hamas and the Israel. India today is the only team which is reporting from the border, which is the center of tension between Lebanon, Hezbollah, Hamas and Israel. In fact, on Monday, the top army commander of the Israeli army was killed, which is confirmed by Israeli forces now, was killed behind me on this border, because the fighters of Hezbollah and Hamas penetrated from the Lebanon towards the Israel also. Not only they infiltrated from Gaza to Israel, but also infiltrated from Lebanon to the Israeli territory and occupied some of the army checkpoints there. There was a lot of gun battle yesterday behind me on this border between the Hamas and the Israeli army, in which the top army commander of the Israel got first injured, then later he succumbed to the injuries. So far, the highest casualties in 50 years on the Israeli side in clashes with the Hamas and Hezbollah. This border has it is being, you can see there is not any kind of a visibility of the security forces, but whenever the rockets are being fired by Hezbollah towards the Israeli positions on those mountain tops which are behind me, because it is the border which here in the Lebanon is called as the Palestinian territory, but Israel occupied it physically and have the checkpoints on all these mountains behind me, and they are being targeted now by the Hezbollah by rockets here from Lebanon. And also the Israeli army has responded on Monday and Tuesday with some artillery fire. But so far the focus of the Israeli army is on the Gaza, and that is why not only the electric supply, water supply has been cut off to the Gaza Strip, but today also the internet services were suspended in the Gaza Strip by Israel. And in fact, some unfortunate reports coming from the Gaza, what the local media is telling here, that during the last 5 days at least 6 journalists from different news groups and the television channels had been killed in the attacks by the Israeli forces on Gaza. And this has been confirmed by the Palestinian Authority, but so far nothing has been said by the Israeli authorities on those killings. But one thing is clear, that during the last 50 years the casualty numbers of the Israeli side is mounting, and on the both sides, the Gaza Strip as well as in the Israel, now the number of casualties has already crossed 1,000, and thousands others are injured on both sides after this conflict. The situation is very tense on the border, which is between the Lebanon and Israel here in Al Amin area, and we traveled from the Beirut almost 300 kilometers, but here the Lebanon police forces are not allowing to proceed further towards the checkpoints of the Israel, but it is visible that how the tense situation here on the Lebanon-Israel border is too. Ashrafani, India Today, on Israel-Lebanon border in Lebanon.